When you hear too many no's as a personal trainer, it dents your confidence, it dents your bank balance, and eventually you have no career. And I've seen this happen over and over again with a lot of trainers. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 big mistakes that cause personal trainers to have potential clients saying no to their services and how to fix it. It works because I did it in my business and I was able to open up a studio and employ staff. So let's dive into what the 3 things are. Number 1 is not taking control of the initial conversation. It typically goes something like this. Client approaches personal trainer and starts asking them a whole barrage of questions. What's the diet? What's the exercise plan? How long is it? How much does it cost? How many times do I have to come in a week? And it goes on and on and on. And at the end of you answering all these questions, what does the client do? They say, okay, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. Whack, whack, oops. You need to take control of the conversation immediately. Think about it this way. If you went to see your doctor and you approached it in the same way, you asking lots of questions, would you really then at the end of it say, okay, doc, I'll think about it? No, you wouldn't. The doctor asks you questions. They take control of the conversation. So an example would be, let's say you're on the phone, client rings up, you do all the normal pleasantries, and then you say, okay, June, the way I like to conduct these calls is by asking you a set of questions, getting some idea of where you're at, and then give you an idea of how my program works and what the different investment levels are. Is that okay with you? Now, straight away, what does that mean? It means A, you've taken control of the conversation. B, it means a person speaking to you feels as though they're in the hands of a professional. And most importantly, it allows you to start to just scratch at some emotional stuff that may be going on with the client, because when they're asking all the questions, guess what? They are in a logical mindset. And when people are in a logical mindset, they're not going to take the next step. If you're in control of the conversation, you can get them into a slightly emotional mindset and you can get them to take the next step. Now, if you're selling high ticket programs, my advice would be to do it in 2 steps. Step number 1 is to have this conversation and to pre-qualify people. You take control of it. And then step number 2 is to go into more in-depth consultation. I know the gurus will say try and sell straight away off the bat. That's not my approach. I tend to do it in 2 steps. But the key thing here is you must take control of the conversation. So that's number 1. That's the mistake and that's how to fix it. Number 2 is presenting your solution just verbally, just telling people what you're going to do. So you just sit them down and you just go on to blah, 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 talking. Now, yes, you have to speak. Yes, you have to explain what you're doing, but it can be done with a visual presentation. And when you do it with the visual presentation, what you're doing is you are hitting all of the methods that they might use to interpret and understand information, especially if you have someone sat there that's visual. I tend to be more of a visual learner than anything else. And if the client or potential client you've got sat in front of you is more visual and you're just talking, they're having to work really, really hard to take what you're saying and turn that into pictures, images, so they can better understand it. So if you can have something visual to show them, it's going to go a long way to helping them to understand what it is you're offering, and it's going to put them in a better position to make a buying decision. So that's number 2. Don't just verbalize it, do it with some visual presentation as well. People will understand it far better. Now, just before I get into number 3, if you're interested in understanding a little bit more about this topic of high ticket programs, how to avoid, minimize getting the no's and get more yeses, I have put some training together. There's a link below this video. Click on it, take it to a page. You can access it today and get some free training. I teach you how to create, market, and successfully sell your own high ticket program. Okay, so we're going to number 3. Point number 3 is the payment options. Only having one payment option for people. It's not great. Again, I know some gurus out there will say, no, look, if you try and sell them different payment plans, it gets confusing. No, it doesn't. I had 2 options when I was working face-to-face, and I still have it online as well. My 2 options are pay up front and get a small discount, or pay monthly. And people are used to paying monthly. They pay for the cars monthly, the mortgages monthly, the gas, electricity bills monthly. It's easy for them. I would rather have somebody opt for pay up front because they feel like, yeah, that's what I want to do and I've got the money in the bank. I'll happily do that and make a 2% saving, rather than having a client there that really wants to work with you but is really going to be struggling to pay up front, and they end up paying up front and then they feel stressed out because they've paid that much money up front. That's when you tend to get people bailing out of the program if they feel uncomfortable with the decision they've made financially. Whereas if you give them the option of either or either, I would rather have a client paying me monthly and being happy. They're happy getting what they want. I'm happy, I'm coaching them, and I'm getting paid what I want as well. So I'd much rather do it that way. Now, if you're interested in finding out about how to create a specific offer, one offer that will serve you across multiple different types of people, watch the video on screen now.